The world of work and projects is changing at a rapid pace. Join the Project Management Institute as we navigate our projectized world with the thinkers and leaders making ideas into reality. Together, we'll explore the future of work and what it means for PMI's global community of changemakers as we continue to drive impact and transformation across the project economy. This is Straight Talk.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Appleby, chair of PMI's board of directors, and I'm thrilled to be here today with Jim Snyder, one of PMI's founders. And Jim, I'd like to just start right off the bat by asking a couple of questions about how PMI is faring as a result of the pandemic.
Well, first, Tony, thank you very much for inviting me. This is the first time I've been back in the building now in a year and a half, and it feels good. I think PMI has done relatively well. It's given both the chapters and the international organization a chance to stop, stand still, and look at where we are and make sure that where we're going is where we want to be.
Can you talk a little bit about the larger profession and some of the observations to project management practitioners in general?
Well, I think the project management profession has two aspects now that it didn't have before the pandemic. First of all, I think we've learned to be virtual. It's not only into our communications with each other, but into the way we manage projects. On the other hand, projects are still projects. I think that we're going to see these two different dynamics.
I couldn't agree more. And I like that the PMI has begun to explore ways to serve beyond our traditional core members. Can you comment a little bit about that?
Yes, I think you're absolutely correct. I think we have begun to shift in a direction of providing lots of support and services and programs that are very different from classic project management. And that's why I think that the pandemic was good for us. We can step back and take a look at how these changes really will affect us and how we really want to go forward with them as an organization.
I absolutely agree. Our bylaws dictate that we serve the project management community first and foremost. But if we can start drawing some other people into the fold, by helping amplify our voice.
I think we have to, because the world has changed. We're not living in the same world we were a year ago. This is very different, the way we conduct business.
Can you talk about some of the core competencies that the board and staff need to be aware of?
Yes, I think that first and foremost, we are an organization of practicing project managers. And I think that one of the core responsibilities of the board is to provide good, practical learning experiences for young people so that they understand the fundamentals of managing projects.
So Jim, on the topic of transformation, what advice would you give to our chapters and our senior volunteer leaders across the globe on how to maximize their impact?
That's a very interesting question. I think that chapters are ready to support the board of directors. I think chapters are ready to really grow themselves and to grow the organization. And I know that the board has tried very hard, but somehow we've missed the mark on bringing understanding of exactly what the board means when they say transformation. And I think the way to get around that is the board needs to define what we looked like a year ago and what we look like after a transformed organization.
So you've frequently in the past described how the association used to exist around a dining room table. Today, the association of PMI exists around the globe. Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts and reflections on the internationalization?
Well, you're right about how we got started. We just went from Philadelphia, Atlanta, Houston, St. Louis axis to a worldwide axis very, very quickly. We were at the right place at the right time with the right thing, a forum to exchange information on how projects are managed and all the skills and techniques that are needed to do that.
So it seems just like yesterday since we celebrated PMI's 50th anniversary, but I'd be curious to know your own perspectives on what the next 50 years might bring to our profession.
Boy, that's probably the toughest question you've asked. It's just so dependent on how the world goes. Almost anywhere you look, you find a need for rebuilding, whether it's come from political change, whether it's come from economic change, or whether it's come from natural sources. The world is needing to rebuild, and I think it's the project managers who are members of PMI that are going to rebuild it in the next 50 years.
I could not agree more. Well, Jim, thank you. I cannot express enough our appreciation for you taking the time to come in and sit with us today.
Well, thank you, Tony. You know me well enough to know that if you ask me a question, you'll get an answer. And I really appreciate this opportunity to do just that.
We do call it a straight talk for a reason. So thank you.
Thank you.